to order. And Miss Erica, if you could note that all of the committee members are present. The first thing that we have up for discussion is an update on the Community Development Director position. And that would be Missy Gentry.
So I will be brief. The position is posted. We have received a handful of applications, continue to promote the availability of that position, making that widespread and seeking applicants who are interested in leading this department. Lots of opportunity to make a difference in the community and really looking for the right applicant.
Okay.
We have, yeah.
Okay. Next, rolling right along, Miss Missy, is Community Development Month. And is that going to be
It's going to be Charmaine.
Ms.
Yeah,
Charmaine?
sure. Come up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Community development, we have a few projects and a list of things for the month of April. We have National Community Development Week. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Have we been sent those dates? Because, you know, if you don't get on the calendar
For
Community Development Week.
yes, and here's a calendar of events. This is a draft of some of the list of projects that we have and events that we have for the month of April. Of course, the proclamation reading, we want to present that on that Tuesday, April the 4th. We're going to have a proclamation for, of course, National Community Development Week, which is April the 10th through the 4th. One for National Financial Literacy Month, as well as National Fair Housing Month. Just had a brief meeting with Columbia International University, along with Mayor Rickman, to discuss some projects of a Columbia Clean Up Day, in collaboration with RAMServe, which is under the umbrella of CIU, along with Public Works, Public Relations, and Code Enforcement. We're going to do a month of just Columbia cleanup, but one day, April the 5th, which will be on that Wednesday from 8 to about 3 o'clock, in collaboration with Columbia International University. It's going to be a host of volunteers. We're going to have sites located where they can go out and help clean up those sites in the different neighborhoods. So some information will be going out to the Columbia Council of Neighborhoods, as well as the neighborhood leaders, to identify some of the locations that they will like clean up in their areas, not on private property, but just like tires, things of that nature that they can identify within their neighborhood to clean up. We're in the process of shooting the campaign video. We have identified the company that we will be working with, Seven Sundays, to help produce and create the Faces of Affordable Housing campaign video, which you requested at the last meeting. So we're in the process of creating that. We will have the video re-edited from last year, our National Community Development Week video, that we will be highlighting and showcasing on the City of Columbia webpage on the week of CD Community Development Week. Also on that Wednesday, April the 12th, during that week, CD staff will be doing a day of service at Harvest Hope. The time to be determined possibly, but will be between 1 to 3 o'clock.
Is
for
that
2 hours.
citywide?
No, that's just going to be our staff for.
Is that citywide?
No, it's not. But citywide was to focus more on the Columbia Cleanup Project for that week, for that whole month. Yes.
got
And so we're just focusing on that day of service with the community development staff. But citywide, it will be the Columbia Cleanup Project for that month, where Public Works will be setting out bins in each district. We'll have about 6 bins that we know are confirmed, 2 in each council district, and they will be rotating throughout every week of the month of April. So that's just a whole effort, and that April the 5th is just to kick off that.
So for opportunities for the public to get involved, that would be with the big cleanup. That's what we want to
Exactly,
promote.
correct.
Okay.
Yes, and that's where the press conference will come in at for Mayor Recommend to make that announcement on Thursday, March the 30th, at 10 a.m. at Hyatt Park. So it's going to be a press conference.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're going to get more details on that as well. To proceed, April the 20th, CD is going to be having a home buying and financial literacy workshop. That's going to be at Busby Street from 6 to 8. We are in the process of securing speakers to conduct the sessions for that. And we're going to end it with a community improvement project where we'll identify one neighborhood to just go in, and code enforcement, public works will go in and identify different things within those communities as well.
Is that similar to like a clean sweep? or
Exactly,
something?
clean sweep. And those are the highlights for the month of April. Do you have any questions?
I have a suggestion. I think that Mayor Rickaman should also do a video for his clean up project,
Okay,
encouraging citizens throughout the city to
Okay.
get involved. See, some people agree with,
okay, like a PSA?
or maybe all of us, since we're going to different districts.
Well, I think that was the original intent, was to
Yeah.
get residents to continue to, and to grow the pride in their neighborhood that we talked about.
I just have a general question.
Uh-huh.
Have we ever put together a history of the Community Development Department in Columbia, when it was started? And maybe some of the facts of the number of houses we've done?
Well, I know a few years ago when we did the highlight for the 40th Community Development Department that we celebrated for 40 years, we do have some literature on that.
Is this a significant year? Is this the 50th anniversary or the
I think
40th
it's
anniversary?
coming up.
So Dolly, you want to walk up?
Yeah, I think it's coming up. The 50th is coming up. Not sure.
Good morning.
So the 50th anniversary of community development is 2024.
Oh, next
So
year.
it's going to be next year coming up.
Well, I think that Columbia's got a really good story to tell on the 50th anniversary. I think it's one of the few cities in the state I know that made the community development a revolving fund and have used monies from the payback of the loans and all, and we need to highlight that. Y'all need to highlight that next year.
Absolutely.
That's a good
And as
idea.
Charmaine mentioned, we did do that for the 40th. We had a huge celebration
Yeah,
for the 40th anniversary, and there is information that we can,
we start
Can
working on that now.
continue.
We'll have a really big one for the 50th.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention, Mr. Duval.
Just want to leave you with some things to do.
And Dolly, there was a video for the 40th, if I recall. That, okay.
I think we really got a good story to tell.
We do. And this is a good time for a good story. It's a good time for a good story. All right, and next we have partnership opportunities with Columbia Housing Authority. I really just wanted to follow up on two separate meetings that we've had previously. And if you all could tell me how we're working.
So while Harrison and Marshika are getting started, in addition to the work they're going to talk about, we are working with Columbia Housing to try to pre-approve applicants for home ownership opportunities going forward. So that's another opportunity for a partnership, as we are doing with our own staff and Richland One, and really trying to promote our home loan programs to get as many people pre-approved as possible.
And is that moving forward? That's really all I'm trying to figure out. It is moving forward.
The program to build the houses is moving forward. The houses are not under construction yet, but yes, we're still working through those details.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I know at one meeting, CHA wasn't exactly sure about where they fit, and actually, that's who I wanted to be here to give their report, but we'll do it next time.
And there has been some progress made since a recent meeting with Columbia Housing. So do y'all want to talk
Oh,
about that?
yeah, so give me some good news.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
The good news is, since our meeting a few weeks ago, Harrison, Mr. Joseph, and I met with representatives from Columbia Housing to discuss a better way that we could process our applications faster. And on February the 21st, we had a very good meeting. Since the pandemic, it slowed down a little bit due to turnover in staff on both ends at Columbia Housing and TN Development. But now we've come together and decided that instead of having applicants, once they come to TN Development for homeless persons to reside at Oak Hill Apartments, they would fill out applications at our office and then take a packet to Columbia Housing and fill out their application. We're now going to be doing both of those application packets at our office and submitting it to Columbia Housing, their information as well, so that the resident won't get lost in the process of Columbia Housing trying to track them down.
And I'm sorry, for our committee members that were not a part of the other meeting, I forgot. So with our rapid shelter, one of the things that will make it successful is having housing and placements for folks to go. And TNCHDC has Oak Hill, which is housing for homeless, unsheltered persons. And we were just having difficulty in getting the folks approved. So I'm just checking to see if we have closed that loop. So I'm sorry, that's the background that I didn't give you all.
And I apologize as well.
No, it's my, yeah.
TN has a housing assistant payment contract with Columbia Housing for the past 3 decades to house homeless persons. And in order for them to reside at Oak Hill, they go through Columbia Housing to receive a voucher to reside at Oak Hill. And it has to be approved through both TN and Columbia Housing Development. So that's one of the ways we're going to fill that gap in assisting the residents with both application packets and doing the inspections. Instead of waiting until a person is approved with Columbia Housing, we will, as soon as our apartments are ready, we will call Columbia Housing and have inspectors to come out and inspect then. And we have 90 days from that point to fill the position, to fill the apartments. So if we don't get those filled within the 90 days, the process starts over. So we feel that that will help speed the process up, as well as sharing criminal background information, because TN was pulling background information as well as Columbia Housing. So we will have the individuals to sign an agreement, a consent, stating that we can share that information with Columbia Housing. And that will, we really believe that that will fill that gap.
That sounds wonderful.
It
I
is
like the
wonderful.
process.
Yes.
And so how many vacancies do you all have now?
We currently have 10 vacancies. We have 1 applicant that's moving in, future resident that's moving in next week, and we have 6 applications in process.
How many units do you have?
We have 30 units at Oak Hill.
So that's 30 plus 50 of the pallet homes. That's 80.
Well, 20 of those 30 are filled.
Yes.
So,
We have
Well, I
10
mean,
vacancies.
we still ought to be counting them as our work on our homeless population.
TNCHDC.
and an update, TNCHDC have merged, so CHDC is the name of the corporation now. I know there's talk of changing that, but for reasons, the attorneys recommended we leave it alone for just a minute.
And so what's the official name?
CHDC right now.
Colum-
TNDC, I'm sorry, TNDC is the surviving corporation. But they are officially merged now.
So
And
is
the
Oak Hill a
preferred-
transitional?
It's permanent housing.
permanent housing.
Yes, sir. So once they come, they stay. We have not had a vacancy in a while. And the only reason why we have that many vacancies is, again, because of the maintenance issue that we've had and the staff shortage on Columbia Housing and with TN. But now that we have Rapid Housing, the Rapid Shelter involved, we're getting applications flowing in now, not only from Rapid Shelter, but Transitions, Oliver Gospel Mission, and Mercy.
And I'm just curious, what's the average length of time that folks stay?
Stay a good while until they pass away.
It's like in Sephora.
We have not had anyone move out in a while.
Is Section 8 certificates?
It's project-based certificates, vouchers. Yes, sir.
So I learned, Howard, that project-based means the voucher stays with the property. It's not an individual voucher that the person can take with them different places. I learned that last week. I hope I repeated that well.
Do you run any programs for the people that you have in your units?
We have supportive services, yes, sir. Literacy program. We try to encourage persons to get out and, get a job. So we do have a job, different companies that come in to speak with them. That's picking back up. And we do have Harvest Hope that comes in as well to, because some of them are on fixed incomes.
And we're working with the Rapid Shelter team to make sure that as folks transition from Rapid Shelter to Oak Hill, their supportive services are also remain in place.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Well, that's all I wanted to make sure that we close those loops. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We are doing a RAD, which is a refinancing. And under the RAD, if they stay for a year, they will get a housing choice voucher, where they could move. So after the RAD, then they do have an opportunity to move with a voucher.
And so we'll look and see if they choose to, if they choose to stay, if they choose to go.
Housing has to be available, of course, so that would be the thing, being that it's one person per family, they have to have a one-bedroom, and that's the issue with the shortage. But they can go anywhere in the United States.
Y'all working on more potential projects that fit this format?
We have a property called Pinehurst, which we are working on for elderly housing, but not for homeless.
Has Pinehurst been built? Yes. Okay, I remember where it's going and all.
But
There's a funding need for that project.
Oh,
I was gonna say, but we put a priority on non-congruent housing with the home DR.
We did.
So that's money,
The home ARPA.
yes, home ARPA. So the answer, Will, is the city has allocated funds towards individual non-congruent housing. That's the best way I could say it, which is what I consider that. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that they normally do. They normally do.
we need to add that to our homeless services portfolio, because that's meaningful, especially when y'all can keep them more than 90 days.
Yes, sir.
Well, and meaningful to have somewhere they can transition from Rapid Shelter. Wish we had 100 units
Exactly.
like Oak Hill, but we don't.
I don't have anything else. Gentlemen, do you all have anything?
I wanted to ask a question. How are we doing on just keeping up to date with contact information with the neighborhood, the Columbia Council of Neighborhoods? Are we,
I'm going to ask Charmaine to come back up and speak to that. I know there's been challenges in the past as neighborhoods, officers transition, sometimes they fail to let us know that, and Charmaine does make an effort to get that information.
I do. Far as the executive board or just individual
just in
neighborhoods?
general, I would love to see the strength of that association grow.
Yes, I know the president, Mr. John Black, he, I won't say was ill, but he was sick the month of December, and he has some little health challenges going on. So I know that he did not have a meeting in January. The first meeting was last month. Had a good turnout, and they had some challenges of forwarding information to some of the neighborhood leaders from his particular email distribution list. So Veronica and I are working with him to help process, to alleviate the process of the information not getting to the neighborhood leaders from him directly. So I know that he's going to be working and talking to public relations to try to help him get monthly information out about upcoming meetings and things that they have planned. So we did talk about that extensively at the last meeting.
Do they have a website?
They do. I don't know how current it is. I know he worked on it a couple of months ago. It's ccn-803.com, if I'm not mistaken. That is the website.
And Councilman Brennan, is your question specific to CCN, or is it all the neighborhood
Well,
My
leader
question is
contact?
what role does the city play in CCN?
Well, we are just the assistants to helping them get information out, attending their meetings, and if they want to collaborate on different neighborhood events.
Okay, so we're just kind of an advisor.
Exactly.
Liaison.
Yeah,
from-
just the
There you go,
liaison.
right.
Exactly.
But they're independent.
They are.
I've been asked to speak at the Wells Garden meeting coming up, and they want me to speak on the competitive grants that neighborhoods compete for in the city of Columbia. And I didn't know that we had any of those. Is it the Council of Neighborhood grants that they're talking about?
No, I don't think the Council of Neighborhoods have any grants. The only type of grants that they usually do is around National Night Out, which are small grants, like maybe $50, $75 to help them to coordinate whatever they have planned for that particular Tuesday night. But we do have the Love Your Block grant, which is in place from the Action Grant that we've been doing over the past couple of years. But that's not competitive. They can just put in their application. We already did the first round of this year. The next one possibly will be coming up around September of this year. So they can apply for that next year if funds are available.
When is your meeting? Because we can give you some talking points.
Yeah,
It's Sunday.
okay. I'll give you some
Yeah,
on the
maybe-
Love Your Block.
Maybe send us all
Okay,
some talking points on that.
okay.
And then I wanted to, following up on Mr. Brennan's question, do you still send, like, when when the president sends out, do you send out too, or how does that work?
Well, with his email chain,
He does it
it
himself?
usually gets blocked by the city's email, and I usually don't get it until the day after he sends it out. And that's been the problem. So that's why we gave him the suggestion of possibly going to PR and just doing something maybe on the city website to assist him with that. Before some reason, with his email chain, is a lot of
I remember
information is
seeing
getting,
those,
is
yeah.
getting blocked.
Because I didn't get mine until,
Couple of
maybe
days
the day
prior.
of it.
Exactly.
that was my excuse.
But it's the truth.
Do we have the contact information for all those neighborhood associations?
I do have an email distribution list, and he usually run off of mine as well as some additional names that he has in his email distribution. I think he said he has around 400. So of course, he cannot do one just blast email. He will have to break those up, maybe within 100 of each email to go out to persons. But that has been the challenge, and we did not notice that until last month. And I'm like, I have not gotten any emails from you. And he was like, I've been sending them out. And I'm like, they are possibly getting blocked. So it's going into spam. So a
Does
lot
he
of
need
people are not
MailChimp?
getting the information.
Does he need MailChimp?
Excuse me?
Does he need something like MailChimp? Because
Exactly.
he's just trying to put a whole bunch of people. Okay,
Yes.
I got you.
When, they will have a new president when?
July 1st. Yes.
A couple of neighborhoods I've noticed in District 3 send out our wonderful weekly City of Columbia email. Can we start doing that to that list that you have
Okay, we could.
to keep everybody engaged?
Okay.
I think that email has grown wonderfully with the information that it provides. Right, what Alicia and her team, yeah. I would like to get that in more inboxes, especially for this engaged group with the neighborhood association.
Okay.
I want to make sure we're addressing and not
Yeah, we have the same list. We have the same listing. Yes.
As far as City Weekly, I just have to run it by Ms. Utsi to get a further approval to where we.
If you could add Marie's list to that.
And I think that Mr. Brennan is trying to see what we can do to help bring CCN back. I don't want to say back to, but when I worked at the city, those meetings would have like 100 or so people. And I'm sure COVID impacted it, and they, but just different ways that we could strengthen that
Yeah, and
organization.
I think
Talk
neighborhood
well,
leaders,
talk well.
generational, you know, it's just good to get new engaged talent, people that are interested. And I think providing them the information is important. Give them a reason not to do it if we don't.
Okay.
All right, does anyone else have anything? Well, yeah, that was my intent, not for y'all. But just to make sure, because, well, I think with that particular property, people have to want to stay there. But I don't know if there was another issue that that they may have discussed or brought up. But I do think every now and again, it would be good to have them here, just so that we can make sure we're keeping everything flowing and hear about the wonderful things that they're doing as well. But I like the partnership that we have, and we'll address that one at the other one, because a lot of times too, it's just inform us, let us know what's going on and what we can tell folks when they email us. I agree. All right, anything else for the good of the group?
We adjourn.
We are adjourning, Miss Erica. Thank y'all.